A two-board model railway with a bit of a Great Western theme. Board 1 ends here. Board 2 is the fiddle yard. Not fully seamed up yet, but has the facility for the third track, middle track there, to go through a tunnel and to join up to other boards should the need ever arise. So this middle road with a passing loop would be the main line coming from the country station. We have a bay for the auto coach. We have a passing loop for the loco to run round. A small head shunt for the loco to do his run round. We have the engine shed, service depot with a calling stage and water crane. Various little cabins dotted around for the loco crews. We have a cattle pen with a ramp, which is still waiting for some fencing to go up the side of it. We have a coal yard and coal yard office. Then we have a loading dock. With various buildings, one being the loading dock office. We have a barrow crossing, a signal box, we have the exit road from the yard. We have a farm entrance going up the slope, over the bridge, round the bend and off into the distance. The start of some farm buildings, outbuildings, a hillside with sheep. Which transports over to this side of the layout with the sheep still on the hillside. The wire fencing there is what I intend to put up the cattle dock slope. We have a pond with somebody fishing. Here is the controls for this main board of the country station. The top row of switches are isolation switches for the various parts of the station yard, mainly being the bay, the run round loop. Both tracks can be isolated. The goods track can be isolated, the engine shed can be isolated, and the head shunt can be isolated. For DCC work, it can all be left switched on, so all the track is live. Coming through off board 1 onto board 2, we have the controls here, the same again. The top row of switches are isolation, the bottom row of switches are point work. Did I say the bottom row of switches there for point work? I don't know, I may have forgotten. We'll come back to that in a moment. Isolating track is 1, 2, 3 and 4. And then isolated dead ends also. The isolated dead ends are these 3 switches here. These are the point work. These are isolation. Point number 1 on the fiddle yard is the first switch. Point number 2 is number 2 switch, and so on. Point number 3 and point number 4. The same thing happens here in the station yard. We go in the order of the first point in the yard is this one. Then the next point in the yard, number 2, then point number 3, point number 4, and point number 5. There are 6 switches, but only 5 points. I was going to put another one in here, but changed my mind. It was a little bit too tight to get another loco in there. I was going to have a road alongside the shed, but it was all a bit too tight. So the other switch is obsolete. We have some rock face modelled up, coming along the edge of the layout. The back scene is Pico. I have some LED lights in there to light the layout up. Could do with a LED strip really. Back scene on this again is Pico. The layout from a viewpoint is one board self-standing on legs that fold away. Board 2 is also self-standing on fold away legs. The legs are at each end. The boards join underneath. Now this is going to be difficult, but we'll have a go. The boards join underneath with 2 bolts and wing nuts. A block connector for a few wires. There is only a few wires that take electricity from board 1 into board 2. Mostly black in red for track, and then the wires coming from the capacitor for the point work, which is basically 4 wires I think. Operation is by a T1 and a handheld. Here is the handheld and it is directional.